everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever, depending where in the world you're at. We are going to get started here in just a moment. I know you were just wrapping up on another great session with Mike Cobb. Hopefully all of you requested that Global Property Resource Kit or the Consumer Resource Guide that he mentioned. Those are the same documents. The Consumer Resource Guide is a great manual for anybody who is looking to own real estate in another country. And perhaps this is your first time doing so, or maybe you are a seasoned veteran, but you didn't really realize the sort of questions that you had to ask prior to making that move or buying that real estate. So today we're going to just jump right into the top 5 destinations where expats and digital nomads are flocking to today. With the last year and a half, and with a lot of people realizing that they had the ability to work remotely, we've just seen this increase in people moving down to other parts of the world. They're just generally moving all across the world. They're able to take their laptop with them. They're able to grab their cell phone, connect up to Wi-Fi when they need to jump on meetings or attend presentations like this. And then next thing they know, they're able to be anywhere in the world that they choose. So now more than ever, it is extremely relevant to find out where you could be spending time if you do have that ability to either relocate while you're still working, or perhaps you are ready to retire. You're done with the work scene and you're looking to go somewhere else. I just realized my camera is not working, so I'm not going to be doing video today. Hopefully in the next sessions over the course of the next few days, we will be doing video, but just wanted to let you be aware in case you were looking for the video part here to show up. So my name is Rachel Jensen. I currently reside in Belize, made my way down to Latin America in 2010. This was actually down while I was still in college. It was 11 years ago. And while I was in school, I was looking to be a dermatologist. I was in the pre-med program in college. I was studying Spanish, also taking those pre-med classes. And the college that I went to hosted a great summer program, which they called experiential learning trips. And on that experiential learning trip down to Nicaragua, we were there for a good few weeks and doing different activities within the local communities, medical activities within the different communities, volunteer work, community service, digging holes for plantain trees. I remember we were digging a hole too for a new latrine that they were going to be putting in. There was a lot of fun activities that we were doing. And one of my favorite parts was really experiencing the culture and interacting with the locals who were there and just really getting a good feel of this different environment. Coming from New York, it just felt like a bit of a bubble. We were in the suburbs, and it certainly was a bubble. It didn't feel like a bubble. It was a bubble. And so being able to integrate into a new country for me was really exciting and really rewarding. But we were only there for a few weeks. And as I was getting closer to the time of graduation and being and preparing to apply for medical schools, I realized I didn't necessarily want to take that route anymore. I figured if I wanted to go to medical school down the line, I could always reapply and go that route. But what I wanted to do was experience the world. And I ended up applying for the Peace Corps at that point. I ended up getting accepted to teach English in Panama. That would have started the January following a May graduation. So it leaves a good 6-7 months to do something. I had a wonderful career advisor who recommended that I take a look at this 3-month internship in Nicaragua, since she knew how much I enjoyed my time down there back in 2010. And so I applied for the internship. And then 2 weeks later, I was on a plane to Managua, Nicaragua, and prepared for this 3-month internship, but really unprepared, I would say, for this 3-month internship, since I didn't really know much. I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I didn't really know those specific details, which drove my parents crazy. My mom still says that today I'm the reason for her gray hairs. Out of all the siblings I have, I'm the reason for the gray hairs. But I moved down to Nicaragua, and I really thought it was just going to be that 3 months, at the 90-day internship. Then I'd go off to Peace Corps and then continue on from there. And ultimately, I decided to stay. So towards the end of the internship, I really had to make the decision about whether or not I wanted to stay full-time with ECI development, or if I wanted to go to the Peace Corps. And I ultimately did stay with ECI development. I was living in Nicaragua for about a year and a half, and then ultimately made my way to Belize. And Belize today is where I call home. I'm currently here on Ambergris Key, which is the largest key off the coast of the mainland, looking out at the Caribbean and the reef. And it's just a really, really stunning day today. I see sunshine, maybe a few clouds there in the sky, but it's definitely a beautiful tropical day. But for me, when I was looking to relocate, or go to another country, it was really important for me to find community. When I was living in Managua, Nicaragua, for me personally, it was just a little bit more difficult to get integrated into the community and whatnot. But when I was going back and forth to Belize in 2012, 13, what I realized is it was easy to jump in here. It's easy to make friends and talk to other expats and go to the community events and join local clubs like the Rotary, which is one of our groups that we have here on the right-hand side of the picture on the right-hand side. So there's a lot that you can do within the country, within Ambergris Key specifically. That's where, as I mentioned, where I'm located. And it is a place that today I do call home. But during this time of living in Nicaragua and living in Belize and spending time in various countries, I was still able to continue with my work. As long as I had my laptop and good internet, I was able to answer your emails and jump on the phone and be connected. And now, we call that now a digital nomad, somebody who's able to work from anywhere, right? Work from anywhere, digital nomad. Maybe they're spending 3 months here, 6 months there, a month here, a week here, or maybe they just decide that they want to go to Belize for however long, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And so this concept of being a digital nomad has certainly grown. And like I mentioned earlier, it really has skyrocketed in a sense of popularity, quote unquote, or just understanding of what a digital nomad is because of what's happened over the last year and a half. But as I mentioned, my name is Rachel Jensen. I'm from New York originally, made my way down to Latin America back in 2012. And today Belize is home. I'm very excited because they just started the direct flights again between Belize City and Newark. So it is an easy 4.5 hours to get home and see family. But coming back to this concept of being a digital nomad and really being able to take advantage of being able to do your job from anywhere, or for those of you who are looking to retire and relocate, being able to do that anywhere in the world. We are anticipating that there's going to be a tremendous growth in people who are able to work remotely over the next decade. I think as more people are figuring out how to digitize their business, they're going to find that they are able to do that and then have the freedom to go anywhere in the world. But ultimately, what it really comes down to is, what are you looking for? We're all different. We all have something that's important to us, and what's important to me may not be important to you, which may not be important to Bob Smith, who's sitting next to us. But it's important for you to really be real with yourself and understand what it is that you need to have in order to go forward and relocate. And for some people, they want to be in a place that's comfortable for them. They don't want to have to learn another language. They don't want to have an adventure on a daily basis. They want to go somewhere that's very similar to where they're living now, and that's okay. Everybody wants something different, but there are people on the other end of the spectrum who are looking for a challenge, who you're saying, you know what, I'm going to go to Portugal and learn Portuguese and become a resident and maybe become a citizen because I know Portuguese. And some people just aren't as up for that challenge. And that's okay. But you just have to be real when you're looking at places, because if you're not an adventurous person who wants to learn another language, well, then maybe places like Portugal aren't right for you. Are you looking for affordability? Maybe you're a retiree and you're looking at your nest egg and you're saying, I'd love for that dollar to stretch further than it does right now in Miami, Florida, or wherever you're currently located. And if that's the case, then you may want to be looking at a place like Latin America or Central America, where the cost of living is significantly less than in the United States or North America. Are you looking for that tropical climate? Especially, I know it's starting to get warmer now in the north, or I guess I call it north anything that's above us here in Belize. But if you're looking for that tropical climate, then maybe you will be considering some place like Belize or Panama. Or maybe you're just looking for a different pace of life. Maybe you've been running for years with your current job or in your current situation, and you're just looking to be a little bit more laid back, sit back and enjoy life a little bit more. But in addition to understanding what you're looking for, you have to understand what's important to you. Do you need developed infrastructure? And by developed infrastructure, it could be something like Wi-Fi. For those of you who are digital nomads, this is something that is critical, I'm sure. Are you looking at a place that has the infrastructure developed? Infrastructure could also mean roads. Is it easy to get to the location that you're looking at? And this goes down here the second bullet point here is easy access to what you're used to. And so this actually goes more along the lines of those creature comforts. Think about your daily life. What does your routine look like? What is your morning, your lunch, your afternoon, or your dinner? Is that a lifestyle that you want to sustain, or are you okay being a little bit more flexible if they don't have that specific brand of Raisin Bran, for example? Are you willing to adapt and experience something a little bit different? Also, is it important for you to be around an expat community, or are you okay with integrating with locals? Or do you want a mix of both? Just depends, again, entirely where you are. And we're going to cover 5 places today that you're able to find, a lot of this, the good infrastructure, easy access to get there, easy access to the North American items. I know we have people from all around the world on the call here today, but you'll see there's a good mix of places depending where it is you're looking. Now, there are a couple of complimentary resource alerts here on the presentation, and if you want any of them, just email us events@ecidevelopment.com or webinars@ecidevelopment.com. We get all of those emails coming to us, and then we know exactly which resource you're looking for. But we did have a webinar about becoming a digital nomad. So if you're somebody who still needs to work while you're abroad and you haven't yet figured out how to digitize your business, or you're looking at ways to digitize your business or work remotely, I would recommend you reach out to us, events@ecidevelopment.com, webinar@ecidevelopment.com. Both of those are good for a recording of a Digital Nomad 101 webinar. We brought in a couple of experts who can help you find your plan and put together a plan of action so that you can fulfill this life that you've probably been wanting to accomplish over the years. So there are a lot of places where people are going right now, many different places around the world. And again, just depending what it is you're looking for. But we're going to focus on 5 countries today: Panama, Portugal, Mexico, Belize, and Nicaragua. And we're going to go in that order. So number 1 will be Panama, number 2, Lisbon, number 3, Puerto Vallarta, number 4, Belize, and number 5, Nicaragua. So the first place we're going to jump right into here is Panama. And I'm actually a resident of Panama. I have my residency card there, although I live in Belize. It was one of the easiest countries in the region for me to get residency, and I think for everybody to get residency. We'll talk about that in a moment. But in case you're not really sure where it's located on the map, Panama is considered the bridge of Americas, bridging together North America and South America. Many of you probably know Panama for the Panama Canal, linking the 2 oceans right over here, making it easy for transport. And that really has been a big factor in why Panama is developing at the rate that it is. Nicaragua, for example, Belize, those are considered third world countries or developing countries. Panama, on the other hand, is considered a second world country because there is a tremendous amount of money coming into the country. They're able to put that money towards infrastructure and growth at rates that other countries in the region haven't been able to do so. But Panama is a really popular place for digital nomads and expats because it is easy to get there. There's an airline called Copa, COPA. They're based there in Panama City. So it's easy to get to Europe. It's easy to get to South America, North America. In addition to that, like we mentioned, the Panama Canal is there in Panama. So as a result, it has a very strong economy. Think about the Panama Canal is an ATM machine. Every time a boat or ship or barge goes through that canal, there's money coming into the country, and that money is then getting deployed into infrastructure. So there are great roads. There's a metro system in Panama City, and there's just a lot of improvement that happens generally within the country because of that. In addition to that, a lot of people like Panama because there's great healthcare there. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a retiree or a young digital nomad, having access to great healthcare is always something that's important. And they have 2 what we call JCI accredited hospitals. JCI accredited means that it meets the international standards. And so, you'll have great healthcare there. And then in addition, for those of you who are still working and you're looking at ways to set up a business or perhaps open a bank account, Panama has one of the best international banking laws and structures within Central America. And then last but not least, the attractive residency programs. This is great for people who want to spend more time in Panama and really get a good understanding of what life is there a little bit. But what's around, there's quite a bit within Panama City. I'm going to just highlight some of the top areas that people are going to as digital nomads and expats. The first one is letter F. That's Panama City. Panama City is probably one of my favorite parts of Panama. And I think the reason for that is because I grew up close to Manhattan. And so I like the cosmopolitan, metropolitan. If you want Chinese food at 2 a.m, you're able to get Chinese food at 2 a.m. And you are able to do that within the city. There are the skyscrapers, many hotels, many different restaurants, a lot of culture there, different ethnicities. And Panama City is a great place for those younger people who do want to be close to a younger person's zone, because you're able to find a lot of other workers there. The other area where you'll find a lot of expats and digital nomads is C, in the Boquete area. Boquete is really well known for the climate. It's considered the tropical highlands, so you have temperatures about low 70s during the night, upper 70s, low 80s during the day. And so it's a cooler climate, especially, compared to Panama City, for example. Panama City's humid most of the time, and probably about 90 to 100 degrees throughout the year. So again, it just comes back to you though, and what you're looking to accomplish. In addition to that, I have a good number of friends who live in Bocas del Toro, letter H. That's on the Caribbean. That's more of a humid climate over there, but it's the Caribbean side of the country. It's certainly a slower pace of life compared to either Boquete or Panama City. But if you're someone who likes that Caribbean water and would prefer to be by the Caribbean, that could be a place for you to explore. The others here, I'm not going to highlight as much. Oh, Coronado, I will. Coronado, K, that one is a huge area for expats who want to be on the Caribbean, or sorry, on the Pacific rather, and close to Panama City. That would be my recommendation, would be Coronado. But you can see there's a lot of other places around. Some of these are more of vacation destinations versus places where you may want to live. But at the same time, everybody's different, and you may see there's something about these places that are better fitted for you or better suited for you. But the best thing you can do is identify a country of interest, and then from there do a little bit of homework. And especially those of you with digital nomads, you can just pick a country and then check out a different location every week. There are a couple of residencies in Panama, but the one that I really want to highlight here is the Friendly Nations visa. This is the residency that I did 4 or 5 years ago. It's the easiest residency in the world to obtain. You only need to visit one day every 6 years. It's permanent, but do note that Thursday or Friday, it was the government of Panama put out a notice that this visa is changing. Come August, this residency, where right now it's a minimum of $10,000 invested in property, it's going to be the minimum is $200,000 invested in property. So it's jumping from $10,000 to $200,000. So for those people who are looking to secure their most important asset, which is themselves, or just looking for an easy plan B or somewhere to start, I would make it a priority for you over this summer to get to Panama, to get started on the residency. You'll be grandfathered in, and then from there, you'll get that permanent residency. I'm going to be doing a presentation on this throughout the seminar on May 26th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So that's tomorrow, May 26th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I would highly recommend you attend that if residency is one of your primary goals. You can always reach out to me ahead of time, webinar@ecidevelopment.com, and I will send you a copy of what the program looks like currently. So if you want to get started, you're more than welcome to do so. And it's just really easy. As long as you're down there, this first trip for 1 business week, apply, put your application in before the first week of August, then you can be grandfathered in. And you only have to visit 1 day every 6 years. Super easy, easiest residency in the world I've heard of to date. All right, so number 2, we're going to jump to Portugal. You've probably been hearing quite a bit about Portugal. It's, I would say, one of my favorite countries within Europe. I've spent quite a bit of time traveling throughout Portugal. And gosh, I like all of the cities there. I really like that European feel. I did study abroad in Spain when I was in college, and did make my way to Portugal there. That was back in 2010 as well. And I think it's a great place. I'm glad that people are starting to explore it and really identify it for the amazing country that it is. But it is in Europe, so they do use the euro there. And just so that you are familiar with where it's at, we have Spain to the east, And then Portugal here on the west is that red block that you see right there. That's considered Portugal. A lot of people have been going to Portugal just simply because of the affordability of it. It is a part of the EU, which makes it an attractive location for you to get your residency and eventually a citizenship down the line. You do need to know Portuguese to get that citizenship, but this is great for the adventure folks out there who are willing to learn the language. But what's really, I think, a big reason why people are also going is because of the fact that it has really great weather. It's not necessarily the tropics like we see in Latin America. So if you're looking for the warmer climate, it's a moderate temperature there, but they have about 300 days of sunshine. So a sunny place depends where in the country that you're located, but in Lisbon, make it 40s, 50s during the winter time, and then 70s, 80s during the summer, maybe even a little bit hotter at some points, but a very moderate climate there. In addition, for those of you who are looking to be in the European culture, but just be living on a fraction of what it costs in other places in Europe, then Portugal may be that place for you because it is part of Europe and because it has such a rich history and culture. For those of you who like museums and activities like that, then this could be a place that you would consider. But like I mentioned, they do speak Portuguese there. You will find more in the touristy spots that they speak English. But I would say if you're planning to live there more full-time, do plan to get Portuguese lessons. So here are a couple of hot spots where people who are relocating to in Portugal, or they are becoming an expat there. The Algarve is one of them. You can see the beautiful coastline here in the Algarve, Corveiro, Lagos. Those are two popular places within the Algarve. The Algarve is more of the region, but then the two cities I hear a lot about are Lagos and Corveiro. In addition, Lisbon is a very popular place. You get that metropolitan feel. If you don't necessarily want a car, then this could be the right place for you, although Portugal does have very good public transportation. So you are able to just hop on a bus or a train and be in many of the other cities throughout the country. Cascais is another one that a lot of people are moving to or spending time in. This is close to Lisbon, the capital. So if you wanted to be close to Lisbon, have the conveniences of Lisbon right there, then this could be a place that could be right for you. And then Porto, this is in the wine growing region of the country. It's located there on the river too. So again, if you're looking for more of that city or small city feel, I would say Porto could be right. Sorry, I realize the pictures are a little pixelated here. I apologize about that. But if we just go to the map over here, we see at the bottom part of the map, that's the Algarve area. Lisbon and Cascais is in this area over here. And then Porto is on the northern part of the map. And then with the residencies in Portugal, do note that you're able to be there as a tourist for 90 days. But if you're looking for something a little bit more permanent, then there is the golden visa. You have to invest between 350 to 500,000 euros. It depends on which project you're looking at and where in the country that project is located. The interior parts of the country, you'll typically find that it's the lower amount there because it's the opportunity zone. So you're able to get in at a lower cost. You need to visit 2 weeks every 2 years in order to maintain the golden visa, and it can lead to citizenship. But like I said, I would highly recommend you to learn Portuguese, or at least a basic understanding of Portuguese, if citizenship, getting that passport, is an option or consideration for you. All right, we're going to jump over here now to Mexico. So I know Mexico is one of those places that has been around for a long time in terms of people from North America coming down somewhere and spending time, whether it's the winter months or relocating. Your dollar stretches a lot further in Central America and Mexico than it does in the US or Canada. So it has been a very popular place for people to come. I think many of you know that they use the peso there in Mexico. Right now it's about $1 to about 20 Mexican pesos. I'm saying this on May 25th. So if you are listening to this after May 25th, it could be higher, it could be lower. Just make sure that you are following that and you do your own research as you're listening to the presentation here. All right, so why Mexico? And I just alluded to this a little bit before, but it's close proximity to North America. I mean, technically it is part of North America, but here we mean the United States and Canada. So it's easy enough for people to get back and forth. A lot of the bigger cities, Mexico City, Cabo, Cancun, you're able to get direct flights to Canada, to the US, not just Canada and the US, but really throughout many parts of the world. So if easy transportation or easy access is important to you, Mexico may be a consideration. In addition, we said this before, but the low cost of living. And a lot of this, and you'll find a lot of these places that I mentioned have a low cost of living, but also take that with a grain of salt. That is relative to your lifestyle. If you are used to, getting the latest and greatest designer handbags and having, the latest cars and all of that, then your lifestyle is probably going to be about the same. Maybe you'll have a lower cost of living if it comes to getting help or something along those lines in terms of a housekeeper or chauffeur. It'll probably be a little less in this part of the world, but otherwise just understand that if you're doing your basic day-to-day living and you're not living too lavishly, then you are able to really maintain your cost of living. In addition, Mexico, as you saw, is a very big country. So there's a variety of geographies. You have the two coastlines. You have Mexico City. You have the lakes and the higher San Miguel de Allende areas. So you're able to get a variety of geographies. So for those of you who do have the ability to spend time and be a digital nomad, I know when we were in Mexico back in, I think it was March, we met a handful of people who were down there in Mexico for 3-4 months and renting a car or flying from place to place to see where was right for them. And, that is obviously up to you and what you like and what you feel comfortable in, but a variety of geographies there. So maybe you have no idea what you want, but Mexico could be a place for you to consider. And look, we have affordable cost of living on there twice. So it's very affordable, as you can see, strong expat communities. And this is more of a personal one, but really good food. I don't know if you all like avocados, but you get great avocados and just generally great produce there in the country. So a couple of places to highlight here in Mexico: Puerto Vallarta, and I'm going to highlight these on the map after. Again, I apologize, pictures are so pixelated. Cabo San Lucas, Tulum, it's more on the Gulf side, Mexico City, the central part of the country, San Miguel de Allende, and then Lake Chapala. All right, so here is our map. So we have the Cancun, Cozumel area over here. Where I'm currently located, if you can follow my cursor, is just right over here. It's not part of Mexico, but it's a little island that's separated by just a little channel that was built by the Mayans. But Ambergris Key used to be connected to this area, but when that channel was built, it separated and became is a part of Belize. So, all right, so coming over again to our map, so we have Mexico City, the Guadalajara, Lake Chapala. I showed you Lake Chapala before. You can see that blue line over there. That's the Lake Chapala, Puerto Vallarta, which you mentioned, and then Cabo San Lucas. Cabo San Lucas tends to be a little bit more expensive than other places on the coast. One of the big reasons for that is because Cabo San Lucas has been around in the tourism market for a long time. A lot of people from California were coming down to Mexico, and this would be the place for them to go straight down the coastline. Cabo San Lucas, warmer oceans, and a lot more affordable real estate. But there are many other places. Mazatlan, I know, is another popular place for expats and tourists to go to. Merida in Belize, when folks are getting medical services done, severe medical services done, they'll typically cross the border, go up to Chetumal, or go up to Merida over there. But a lot of places here, and again, just depends on what it is that you're looking for. So as a tourist, you're able to be in the country for 180 days at a time. And there are many residencies available. We're going to go into greater depth about all of the different residencies on the residency panel on Thursday. But if you invest currently with the Investor Residency, if you invest $210,000 US in real estate, you can get a 4-year temporary residency. It can be renewed, but that is an option for you if you're looking at it from the investment perspective. If you're a retiree, a lot of these countries, most, if not all, have a retiree program where you can get residency through that means, if you're able to show that you have a pension coming in. So if you want more information about that, just let us know and we can send those details over to you. All right, so the fourth country we're going to talk about is Belize. And as I said earlier, this is my home. This is a wonderful place for me to be. A little biased here maybe, but I found that over the last 6-7 months, the border reopened in October. And then from that time on, we started seeing a lot of these digital nomads coming down. I know a couple from New York. They got here in end of October, November it was. They are writers, travel writers, so they're able to do their job from anywhere. They do go around to Guatemala, Mexico, and these different places, once a month or once every other month to do more writing. But they decided to be here in Belize. I have another friend who I met in November, and she was only supposed to be here for a month. She ended up extending for 5 months, went back to Colorado for 6 weeks, and now she came back last week. She's here for a month, and she'll probably extend for another couple of months. But these are digital nomads. These are people who can do their job from anywhere and decide to do it in the tropics and places where they're able to venture around and explore and live well and still be able to maintain their job. So Belize is about the size of Massachusetts population. You can see it's pretty small. I remember when I was spending a lot of time in New Orleans and I realized what the population of Belize was. The population of New Orleans was just a little bit smaller than the population of Belize. That was a while ago, maybe a little different now, but it was just a big eye opener to realize that the entire country of Belize, the population was just the population of New Orleans, but about the size of Massachusetts. And here the currency is the Belize dollar. It's fixed to Belize dollars to $1. You're going to see a lot of similar reasons on here why people are coming down to this part of the world. Easy access from North America. In addition, this is really the big one here, is that English is the official language. In Portugal, the official language is Portuguese. In Panama, it's Spanish. In Mexico, it's Spanish. Nicaragua, it's Spanish. So if you're somebody who's not really comfortable learning a new language, or maybe you've tried in the past and you're like, you know what, it's just not going to work for me. I can't remember the basic words, then consider Belize. English is the official language here, and it's also a former British colony, which is why English is the official language. But when you see here on the screen, it's in Central America. It's the only country in Central America and the Americas, South America, Central America, where English is the official language. So bear that in mind. But because it was part of the Commonwealth, we also have common law here. A lot of these other countries have civil law or just have a different system, but common law is here in Belize, which means if you're from North America, it's a very similar, the US and Canada, it's a very similar sort of system, especially if you're looking to buy real estate or anything along those lines, same laws. And then in addition to that, affordable Caribbean real estate for those people who may be looking for properties. And then this is where I am. I highlighted over here just so you can see Ambergris Key. But we find that there are really four primary areas here within Belize where expats and digital nomads are going. A majority of them are coming to Ambergris Key. Ambergris Key is the #1 destination for tourism, also for expats. So as a result, we have really great infrastructure. We have really, a diverse collection of restaurants and things to do. But the other popular places for expats and digital nomads would be Corozal. And if you can follow my cursor, it's up here on the northern part of the country, close to the border. This is the border to Mexico. Chetumal is on the other side. So for those of you who really need your Walmart or your Home Depot, we don't have those in Belize. You can hop over to Mexico, shop in Chetumal, and then come back across the border. From Ambergris, we also have a boat that goes to Chetumal and Corozal. But Corozal is a big area where people look. Say it's a little bit sleepier, but the big draw there is the border. In addition to that, the Cayo district, and the Cayo district is popular for folks because it's more of a jungle setting. So if you're somebody who prefers maybe mountains and hiking, then Cayo could be the place for you to look. The San Ignacio area, Bullet Tree, I know that those are two popular places for expats. And then Placencia, on the southern part of the country, we have Placencia. And this is, I would say, not quite as popular as Ambergris Key, but it is certainly getting there. It is considered a fishing town. It's more of where you'll find larger single family homes, people who are planning to live there. Although they do have condos and hotels, I would say that the expats and tourism definitely is here on Ambergris. 70% of the tourism revenue produced in the entire country comes from Ambergris Key. But if you're a diver or you like fishing, then this could be a great country for you. And just plenty to do. Go visit the Mayan temples, go to the Belize Zoo, cave tubing. One of my favorite things I did recently was the ATM caves. So you trek through this cave, you see some old Mayan artifacts. I mean, it's really fascinating and mind-blowing about how there are these artifacts that are still in place and still structurally together after 1,000+ years, and they're there in the caves, and you're able to trek through the cave. You do a little bit of swimming through the water, and it's a really phenomenal experience. But a lot of different activities here in the country. This is the Ambergris Key. This is where I'm at. This was in the 70s. For those of you who've been before, these are probably some pretty neat pictures. This is what it is today. It's been neat to see the sustainable tourism and development that's been occurring. In the 80s, they put in the airstrip. And today it's grown quite a bit to welcome guests. And we do drive around in golf carts, which is quite fun. And just, again, a lot of different activities for people to participate in. Again, divers, this could be a place for you. In Belize, they have a couple of different residency programs. Let me just take a step back. As a tourist, you're able to be in the country for 30 days at a time. 30 days at a time. If you want to renew that 30-day visa, you'll go to the immigration office. There's one in Belize City. There's one in Belmopan. There's one here in Ambergris Key. But with that residency, or with that tourist visa, rather, 30 days, you'll pay $100 per person. They'll restamp you for another 30 days. You can typically do that up to 6 months, and then they'll say, all right, you gotta go across the border and then come back. But it is possible to get your passport stamped for another 30 days. If you're a retiree, there's the QRP program. Retiree, though, in this part of the world, it's young. You only have to be 45 years or older in Belize to be considered a retiree. But this one is a annual renewal. Once you get it, it is renewed. You do have to renew it every year, but you can bring your items in duty free. For those of you who are looking for living here to live here, if you live here for a full year, you can only leave up to 14 days. Then you can apply for residency after that, and then it can lead to a passport. And then there's a new residency that came out. It's the investor residency. If you invest $250,000 or more in the country, then you are able to apply for your investor residency. That one, you do not need to live here. After 5 years, it's temporary every year. And then after the 5th year, it's permanent, and you can apply for residency or citizenship. Get that passport. If you're going to do it, you might as well get the passport. All right. And then last but not least, Nicaragua. I know we're running out of time here, so I'll be quick, but Nicaragua is a place, it's where I first started my international journey back in 2010, moved there in 2012. And I think it's a country that is so underrated. There is incredible potential for this country. And because of its geographic location, it's just north of Costa Rica. Costa Rica is right here. If you can follow my cursor, Nicaragua is right above it. So geographically, it's very, very similar. You have the Caribbean, you have the Pacific, you have the volcanoes, the mountains, the highlands, except that Nicaragua, because it has had this quote unquote reputation, a lot of people tend to totally bypass it or overlook it. If you're somebody who is looking for the most affordable and best quality of life in Central America, Nicaragua should be at the top of your list there. It is so incredibly affordable. I remember I was living in Managua. Again, this was 2012, so a few years ago. But when I was living in Managua, I had a 1-bedroom apartment. It was probably about 800 square feet, had this little courtyard in the middle. It was about $350 a month in one of the best areas of Managua, the capital. There was a housekeeper that came in 5 days a week. She would just clean up, tidy up after me. But it was $350 a week. I remember I could get lunches there for $1.50 from the supermarket, chicken, the rice and beans, the plantains, whatever, coleslaw, whatever I wanted with that. But it was really affordable. And so this is a place that I think people just bypass because of the reputation, but it is actually considered the safest country in Central America. More and more people are hearing about it, and really just understanding that it's not this place that the media says it is. Granted, every place you go to has its good parts and its bad parts. Every city in the world has its good parts and its bad parts. We know crime is localized, and it's no different in any other parts of the world. The only city I've ever gotten pickpocketed in was Rome, Italy. But that doesn't stop people from going to Italy. So I would highly recommend Nicaragua for those of you who are, adventurous, or also people who are just looking to live well on a budget. And we talked about a couple of these points here, but really affordable cost of living, in addition to that, easy residency programs. And then, as I mentioned, it is one of the safest countries in the Americas. I know it tends to blow people's mind, but if you want more information about Nicaragua, we did a Nicaragua 101 webinar. Reach out to me, be happy to send that over to you. And we'd be, it's a great one. It talks about the safety of the government, the politics, all of those things that you hear about that you may be concerned about. But webinar at ECI Development is the best way to reach us. Now, within Nicaragua, there are a few places that people are going to. Granada, this is one of the oldest cities within Central America. Beautiful Spanish colonial architecture, incredible doors. I mean, it sounds so silly to say that, but the doors are so immaculate in this city. In addition to that, San Juan del Sur, this is an area where you'll find a lot of surfers. And then Corn Islands, this is really a quiet Caribbean area. Sometimes they have Wi-Fi, sometimes they don't, but a great little getaway. And then Managua rather, that's the capital of the country. If you are somebody who's more involved in business, then I would recommend looking at Managua, because you'll find that there's a lot of other business professionals there. And then just a lot of different activities for you to explore as you're checking out the country, and a lot of fun things to do. And of course, there's a lot more than what we mentioned here. And here's a picture of our COO, Patrick. I think he's going to be talking throughout the Escape Artist Symposium here, but he is a resident of Nicaragua, and you are able to see the Messiah volcano and the lava, the real lava that's there, which is pretty neat. And there's Patrick's picture showing that, yes, you can actually see the lava. And if Nicaragua is an option for you, the tourist visa there is valid for 90 days. And if you're looking to get your residency, you must invest $30,000 in the country. You get a 5-year residency, which is renewable for another 5 years, as long as you still have that investment. So that just is a quick overview. There are many other countries in the world, but these are some of the top 5 I'm finding people are going to at this point, whether as an expat or a digital nomad or a retiree. But regardless of which path you're on, I do have a couple of key takeaways for you. Is the first one, and this was told to me here in Belize, is pack your patience. Pack your patience. You're going to a different country. They do things differently. If you want things to be exactly the same, stay at home. That's the best advice that I can give you there. The number of times I've been in restaurants before here in Belize and other parts of the world, and people are like, well, if I was in the States, it would be much quicker than this. This is so slow. If I was in the States, I wouldn't have to get the waiter's attention. The service is, yes, I get it, but you're not in the States. So do your best to pack your patience. Stand on the long line at the grocery stores. I mean, do what you can in order to prepare yourself for it. But also be open-minded. You are moving to another country, try to embrace the culture and the local festivities, the local things that are done, the local events. These are great ways for you to expand your horizon. Third point here would be a recommendation to give back to the community that you're calling home. If you are planning to relocate or spend time in another country, find community service ways to get involved. That's also a great way to meet people. One of the first things I did here was start up the Rotaract Club with a couple of other folks. And that was a great way to meet other, younger folks in the community, and befriended a handful of Belizeans as well who became part of the Rotaract Club. And it's just a neat way to give to where you're living. And then last but not least, have fun. I mean, think of this like a fun international journey. It doesn't have to be forever. This doesn't have to be permanent for you. It can be temporary. It can be as long as you want to be in another country. You can always go back. But those are my takeaways, and I do have one more resource for you. It's the complimentary residency guidebook. Send me a message if you'd like it, events@ecidevelopment.com. This is good for people who are interested in residency abroad. If you're also interested in residency abroad, I mentioned to you that Friendly Nations visa, the easiest residency in the world. Reach out to me now. I would love to get that information over to you, because there is a deadline. For the last 7-8 years, it really did sound too good to be true and to last forever, but they have put a deadline on it, and I'm not surprised, but we do need to get you that information if this is something that is serious for you. So thank you everybody so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. A ton of information here. If anyone wants any copies of the slides, just reach out to us. We'll get those over to you. Or if you would like a copy of either of the complimentary resources that we mentioned, I'd be happy to send those over to you. And then if there's any more specific country information, we have handbooks and resources. Just contact us, events@ecidevelopment.com. Let us know what country you're interested in, and we'll be happy to guide you to the right person. It may not be a place where I can personally help you, but I'm sure that we have somebody here in our Rolodex that would be able to. So reach out, events@ecidevelopment.com. And I thank everybody so much for joining us, and love to have you come down to this part of the world.
Rachel, thank you very much for all this information about the top 5 destinations expats and digital nomads are flocking to today. At this point, we will have a lunch break, and then we will continue with Rich Chekan, who is talking about do not get squeezed by gold and silver supply. I'd like to remind everybody, for only $99, you can have a recording of all the speakers in these 3 days. Please sign up right now. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.